Dead Cells is not only one of the most visually striking pixel style games I've ever played, it is one of the most satisfying as well as frustrating games I may have ever played. Dead Cells is essentially your 2D Metroidvania style game that you hear so much about, with a very much an emphasis on really fast paced action as well as roguelike elements that will see you get killed fairly quickly sometimes and can get pretty frustrating, but you never feel like any run is wasted because of its persistence. So every run starts at the beginning. You are in the prisoner's quarters, you get through procedural levels, and you will go through onwards to any one of a few different areas. Each area is strikingly different in terms of its tone and color palette, and enemies in the beginning can be pretty similar, but as you progress, new enemies are introduced. But the crux of Dead Cells is what you find to bring with you along the way. You will find blueprints for new weapons and armor and buffs, as well as when you kill enemies you pick up things called cells. And at the end of each level you will go back sort of to the quarters or a sort of hub area, and there you can use your cells to unlock weapons that you or other things that you may be able to find throughout your run. There's nothing sort of that will allow you too much to sort of load out your character to high end and then jump in from level 1. However, as you get used to sort of how enemies move and you sort of start to read their attacks a little easier, the starting levels can grate a little bit, but not all that much, and you can get through them pretty quickly. So the run exactly to complete the game isn't particularly long. However, you will probably not get there for any while at the beginning. You will struggle, you will be met by the orangey gods, not in a sort of really broken unfair way, but you just might get a mix of enemies that you're just not built out to do. So every run you have up to 4 slots, so you have 2 weapons essentially and 2 throwables. The throwables can be anything from grenades to traps to turrets and quite a bit more. Your other 2 weapons can be swords, they can be shields, they can be bow and arrows, they can be whips and other things. So it's a mix of those skills and weapons that sort of make you trick out your character for that run quite differently. So you can become quite reserved and defensive and sort of have your shield to parry a lot of attacks and use your, say, a bow, sort of keep your distance as well as block anything that dangers that come your way. As you go around you will find upgrades that you can hit sort of through different things that will help you with your mutators. Mutators are things you can unlock one per completed level for each run. These things can be things like improve your DPS for a certain amount of time after you get a kill, or get a certain amount of your health back after every kill. And this and the skills of weapons alone make each run quite varied and quite different, and it feels quite different as well. Like you can go in blazing, swinging your short sword or your daggers, or you can sort of take a more reserved approach, scout the enemies, bring a long sword like I said, or a broadsword, or like I said, a bow and arrow as well as a shield. And it just really just feels like each time feels like a different approach and a different strategy, and things are mixed up enough. I think it can't be understated how well designed the procedural generation of the levels are. Everything almost feels sometimes handcrafted by how well everything fits together, despite it being quite different at some points. How different each run can feel from even just the layout of the level itself, and it just cannot be understated actually how beautiful this game is. I couldn't get over the animations, the detail, despite it sort of maybe sometimes if you don't think too hard about it looking quite simplistic in its art style. It definitely isn't, and the way the colours pop, the lighting pops, everything is absolutely beautiful. And I think the last thing I really have to say is just how hard this game is to put down. It is satisfying. Like, it's fast and it's fluid, and it sort of never lets up. The adrenaline constantly feels like it's pumping, but also it's so easy to just pick it up again and go for another run, make some progress, little or large or major or not. Every run feels unique and fun, and it's just one of those games I just found so hard to put down. And if you're in the mood for a 2D action-based game with an emphasis on combat, with emphasis on really satisfying combat with persistent and roguelike elements, Dead Cells is a dead cert, and I can't help but tell people to go and play this game. It is one of those games I will remember for a long time.